damn you. Welcome to the train wreck. I started off the show with a smack already. Um, Thank you for joining us. I am your host, Coletrane, and we have a new set. I spent all of 15 minutes designing. No, really, it took me a couple of days to design this because I was tired of looking at the other one. We are here on a Wednesday, August 20th, in year of our Lord 2025. And I'm bringing on my co-host, who is, I bet she's going to be on my right. And if she's not, I'll be embarrassed. But first of all, I have to say, I'm so glad that everything was spelled correctly, because right before we got on the air, I started thinking, like, did I run spell check on that shit? So thank God. Anyway, and yes, Al Bundy does rule, my friend. For those of you, I'm not going to tell you what it is. You have to be born past, or excuse me, before the 90s. So if you know what this jersey represents, go ahead and say it. But if you're not Gen X, you're just going to have to wait for the answers here. Anyway, my right hand lady, the shell train, is going to pop on right. And there she is. How are you doing? And normally we have a third co-host. I don't know where she is. I heard from her earlier today, but she probably took a nap and is I bet your alarm goes off, her hair's wild, and she says shit like 13 times while she's trying to find all of her stuff.
It's like my trip to New York City that one time where you had to wake me up.
Talk about some stress, man.
No kidding. Oh
Well,
my
first
God.
of all, it was there was like three different things going on. So we had a conference the next night in New York. I seem like I'm coming out hot. My S's sound really okay. So we had an event that night. Well, excuse me, the next night from when I flew in. So it was going to be 7:30 that night. She was supposed to fly in at like 6 a.m. So it's all good. And the next day, I have to also say, it was UN Day. So all the world leaders were in one spot, and meaning there was security up the ass every fucking where. It was Fashion Week, so all the stars in the goddamn world and every fashionista that's ever existed was in the city. Those of you that know New York, we stayed in a hotel that technically was in Jersey, so it was right down the street from the stadium. From there to get to downtown New York, which is 5 miles, took roughly an hour and a half, because all the goddamn traffic and and then they were filming a movie halfway through that shit too. So
Right?
we had to get like halted for a while and then redirected because they're filming one scene of some movie. I don't even know if it came out or not. But yeah, so all that's going on. And I'm realizing, so I wake up at 6 a.m. Jersey time, which of course is 3 a.m. our time. And I'm just absolutely sure that she's at the airport. Everything is ready to go. And I call her and I say, "You're at the airport, right?" And she says,
shit.
I'm thinking she's fucking with me because there is no way she's blowing this shit like that. And so yeah, she confirmed, no, I'm not at the goddamn airport. And so I'm pacing. Like, God damn it, this is New York. You know, it's not easy to get like, you know, from one end to the next and then into Jersey and all that kind of shit. So you go ahead and finish the story while I'm panicking back in the hotel room, basically reeking of cortisol-induced BO.
Yeah, so I quickly got my stuff together. I called a Uber or Lyft or whoever I took. And the guy's like, so how's it going? I'm like, my flight leaves in about a half an hour. It's like, okay. So he floored it.
Leaves in a half hour.
Exactly. And so he floored it. I got to the airport and they left 5 minutes before I got to the gate. So, of course, I go to the counter, told him I missed my flight, got a lecture from the guy at the counter.
I chastised like a motherfucker.
Yes. Got a lecture about how important it is to set 3 separate alarms on your phone and to double check
like this is helping you right now.
Exactly, right. And so, you know, because I told him that I set an alarm, but of course I didn't notice that it was set for PM instead of AM. So then that's why he went into this lecture mode. And so fortunately, they were able to get me on the next flight. But I was arriving like an hour or so before our event started. So fortunately, we had a friend that was able to get us a driver to get me to the hotel so I could take a shower. And then we made it to the event right in time. But it was a very stressful time. And
super stressful.
So bad for Coletrane because he was super stressed because of my stupidity. It would have been totally fine if I would have just checked my alarm 3 times, like this guy at the airport said. But I have now known since then to make sure that I am overly anal and double check to make sure that the alarm's set on time.
Yeah, that was not fun.
No.
We made it, and it was a good time afterwards. But you know, they have a saying in New York, and it's Yiddish. You're schwitzing, but you're not sweating, but you're not dry. You know, it's kind of like you're just about to break. You know, just kind of like that beating. You're schwitzing at that point. So yeah, that was that adventure.
Well, you know, and come to find out, I mean, we were super stressed because it was the first time that we ever went to this type of event before. So we thought we had to be there on time. It starts at 7:00. You have to be there at 7:00. We wanted to show, you know, present the best side of ourselves and everything. Come to find out, we could have been there an hour late and wouldn't have even been that big of a deal. We could have
strolled in as it was ending, and it would have been all right.
Yeah, it would have been fine. But lesson learned.
Yeah. Nowadays, I just don't get as stressed as I used to because, you know, it's like, I don't know what's going to give me a fucking heart attack and, you know, take everything away right now. So why stress out over it?
Well, you know, it was just a bad trip overall. I mean, it ended up okay, but I felt so bad for you because you were so out of it during the whole thing. And I started that horrible tumbleweed, but you the rest of the trip too.
Yeah, it wound up all right. So
yeah,
I snatched this damn thing right out just like I knew I would. So first of all, I was gonna say this week, but remember this month has all kinds of events attached to it. It is come on. There we go. Black Business Month. So, you know, if you're not supporting me, I gotta assume you're racist and hate me. Happiness Happens Month. So do whatever it is that makes you happy. You know, if it's eating, do it. If it's smoking weed, do it. If it's running butt naked up and down the street, don't do it if it's not legal where you are. But, you know, if everybody's in bed, do it. National Immunization Month. They got a whole month dedicated to prove you dumb fucks out there that these are necessary, and no, it does not kill every single person that gets jab. Let's see. And finally, Romance Awareness Month. So you non-romantic some bitches better get your shit together, because I done put this out to your ladies out there. And, the whatever guy in the relationship, cares about that shit, I done put it out there to him too. So you can get in touch with us in several ways. Our YouTube page, our Facebook page, the Jaded Zen Entertainment official page. Go ahead and, for those of you with the benefit of flash photography on your phones, go ahead and click that QR code. You will be talking to JJ if she's available. If our show page is TraneWreck'D on Instagram, so it's TraneWreck_D. Or again, go ahead and take a picture of that QR code, and you will be talking to Christy, our producer, most likely. And finally, those of you watching on Facebook, this is our official YouTube page. We prefer that you come over here and go ahead and subscribe and comment over here, because it helps the algorithm, helps us get the show out to more people. And hey, when you're watching live, there's more benefits. Those of you who subscribe, up to the first 200, you will be considered the day one dog pound. So you will have discounts on anything that's on sale in the future, special perks. Your news will come out about whatever we're doing before everybody else. So a little something to think about. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you miss this QR code, because I'm taking it away right now, just go ahead and look down at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. There is a red square with a little triangle in the midst of it. If you hover your arrow over it, it'll say subscribe here. Go ahead and click that bad boy. Click the bell. You'll get all the notifications letting you know when we are on the air, and you will be part of that day one dog pound. So let's get down to business. This week, I'm really coming in hot here. I'm hearing these S's real hard. Okay. Anyway, this week, a lot of just weird shit in the news. I'm going to talk about that. And also our topic of the day is the vanishing villages. Not of any specific place, but actually around the world. We're going to figure out what the possible, what the possible reasons these places are vanishing. Why there's no evidence. Did the shit actually exist or not? So we'll go through that. We'll be talking about how the right has lost their mind because of some of the new NFL cheerleaders. What could that be all about? We'll tell you in just a little while. And also, don't hate the game. A lot of, let's just say fat fucks are making a lot of comments about a recent picture of Triple H and his wife on a boat, forgetting that the man's heart exploded and he ripped his quad right off the bone before. So, a lot of sacks and mashed potatoes got a lot of shit to say about that. But let's get right into our story entitled The Vanishing Village. Essentially, these are civilizations that were there, and then all of a sudden they weren't. The hell am I talking about? Well, let's go find out. Welcome back to TraneWreck'D, where the bizarre isn't just welcome, it's expected. I'm your conductor, Coletrane, and today we're pulling into a stop that doesn't exist anymore. Imagine this. You wake up one morning, and the entire town, every house, every street, every person, gone. No goodbye, no warning, no trace. Sounds impossible, right? Well, it's not. Our first stop, Canada, 1930. A fur trapper named Joe LaBelle arrives at an Inuit village near Injikuni Lake. He's been there before. It's familiar, but this time, silence. No people, no dogs, no fires. Pots still hanging over cold ashes. Food still sitting out. Rifles left behind. And the graves? Some were dug up. Joe panics when the police records are disputed. Some say the report was buried. Others say it never existed. So what's left? An unsolved mystery that refuses to die.
That is creepy. especially knowing that the food was still sitting there. So
yeah. So it's like, what the hell happened there?
and then graves dug up. The hell,
Right. Yeah.
you know?
So
You not only take you and your stuff, but you take the dead people.
yeah, you got to take your dead with you. That's I heard a story one time about I can't remember who it was, but I think they were a realtor, and they were actually it was Jack, the guy that sold us our house. Remember, he was saying how he had sold a house to somebody, and then the owner came back and said, "Well, we got to take the dogs with us." And they were like, "Okay, well, where are they?" The dogs buried in the backyard.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, that's a lot of love for your dog, boy.
Hey
But
Tyra, see if you can
hey,
get a hold
Tyra,
of your mom for us.
she got the voicemail same as I did. Hang on, I'm trying to load a couple of pictures in here. So, what's going on in the world of Shilliam while we're loading this shit up?
Well, just busy with work. Unfortunately, I heard some not so good news about my sister's health, which is unfortunate. So my sister has dealt with cancer on several occasions. She has had surgery on a couple occasions. Unfortunately, it came back, and she's going to have surgery again in November. Fortunately, the one good thing is it's a slow growing cancer, but it is very rare. And so there's only a handful of surgeons that can even help her out. So she can't really just go anywhere. But she's kind of has a positive attitude. I mean, considering she has something going on in October, because I asked her why she has to wait until November to have the surgery. And she said, well, I've got plans in October, and cancer is not going to stop me from doing what I want to do. Yeah. So I'm like, that's a great attitude, because you can't just put your life on pause unless it's an emergency situation, obviously. But it's still really sad for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, that sucks, because she was doing fine for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
Yeah.
then you just get hit with that shit that just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Her last surgery was last March. And so she was cancer free for about a year and a half.
See, and cancer's a cruel bastard too, because they're like snakes, little assholes, just lay in wait and wait for you to get all comfortable and shit, and then strike again.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that I've known that they'd be 5 years cancer free, and all of a sudden some shit just comes back.
Yeah.
And I don't. And again, I don't know people's habits, because a lot of those people may be doing the shit that the doctors told them not to do, but at the same time, it's still kind of a cruel fate.
Yeah.
We all, and it's not to scare everybody, but we all have cancer cells in us. It's just a matter of waking them up or not.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar, saturated fat, that's their biggest sources of food. They love that shit. It's like trolls with insults, man. They just
eat it up.
Shit.
Yep.
Yep. Which takes me directly into this next story here. Those of you who are wrestling, even though if you're not a wrestling fan, y'all remember the game Triple H. This was him back in roughly 2003. Here is, let's see, where is that other picture here? Okay, so him and Steph probably 15 years ago, him and Steph today. First of all, he's got a little bit of a gut, but that's almost like a power lifter gut, just when you in the off season of training, he doesn't look fat.
Right.
But
he looks like he has a dad bod.
Exactly.
And
that's what a lot of people are making fun of him about.
No.
And
here's
the close up. Even you back out, he's still, me and him have a similar body at this point, even though his pecs are a little more developed and he's got better arms than I do. But JBL had a hot take on it. Don't forget to look in the mirror, you fat,
right?
Fat bastards.
Yep.
And the thing is, and I even defended him on number one, I defended him against this fuck. who, decided to he was talking a bunch of shit, and me and several other people had to remind him that not only did he tear the quad right off the bone twice and finished the match both times, the man's heart just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
He had what's called the Widowmaker, which 99% of people don't survive.
Yeah.
And, what's real fucked up is while he was under the knife, while he was having surgery, that's when Vince decided to go ahead and strip all the work he had at NXT, and, just showed you what kind of imperial son of a bitch the McMahons are. But, it was almost like a soap opera. He's dead, essentially. Exactly, see him.
Exactly.
And then, his father-in-law decides to fuck him over.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wanted to put it on a musical slide, one of those type of things. But, amongst the fat fucks that decide, these are the type of trolls that have everything to say. Here's homeboy with his wife. He was making fun of Steph too.
What the fuck?
This guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This fella.
Ugh.
So, yeah.
And none of these people have ever looked like Triple H before. And they probably look worse than what Triple H looks like now.
What's funny is the amount of people that will talk about has-beens. And, it's always better to be a has-been than it ever was.
Never been. Yep.
And I think that, which is why, a lot of you run off at the mouth, because it makes you feel something about yourself until people like me come along and expose you. But, and, that's been, a lot of people are, wonder like, damn, Coletrane, what's happening to you over the years? Like, you done got mean. Actually, it's been an experiment this entire time. I've been going out and seeking people to fuck with, to troll. I've been trolling the trolls. And number one is because when I was younger, I forgot to set a lot of boundaries. And instead of just trying to be like, boundaries now, because people don't really buy that, I decided to go out and show exactly how much of a son of a bitch I can be, how big an asshole I can be if pushed. I love peace. I prefer peace over everything. But at the same time, I've lost that fear of confrontation. So what I've been doing is any kind of race, sex, PESA.
Homo. I guess
there's no
homoist. Yeah,
the homophobia.
Yes.
If you marginalize entire groups, or you think it's fun to make fun of people who are, marginalized and in a sense endangered, and a lot of times a much smaller percentage of the population than you think you're battling, I'll be there to check your ass, because what the fuck do I have to lose? My kids are grown. I have no felonies on my records. I got a little bit of room for some community service. So, so I don't mind. But that's the thing is, though, I prefer peace. I'd really love for everybody to love one another, for everybody to take care of one another, for people to just quit talking about the way people look. Because a lot of times, like, you're gonna see I'm gonna say like a cavalcade of art that I'm gonna start rolling out that I didn't paint. AI did it for me based off of my ideas. But it's gonna shed a light on the fact that a lot of people that have shit to say about other people have a closet that's bursting with skeletons.
Yep.
Me, I have no skeletons. I promise you. Over the past, how long has Facebook been around? Since 2008?
Something like that.
Like, how many years is that? 18? Something like that? 21?
17, 18 years. Yeah.
Shit, whatever. You can look with a fine-tooth comb. And Randy, baby, I was going to text you today. Exactly.
Yes. That's
my, ladies and gentlemen, that is my spirit animal right there. Randy, we have met one time. And that bond there's some people I meet once and we're just bonded for life. We just talk through the computer or whatever. But yeah, it's just the fact that people want to talk so much about other people while skeletons are just falling out of their closet. But I guarantee for the 20 years I've been on social media, you will not find one homophobic, racist, sexist, any of that kind of shit. At the very most, I might forward something a comedian said, but that's just not in my lexicon. You're not going to catch me accidentally saying some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I don't worry. And even like, I'm a big old flirt. I just am. And I love when the people who are either some boyfriend or the girl, what do your wife think? I'm like, okay, first of all, it's on a public page. So if you're really interested in what she thinks, ask her.
Right.
Or if you're trying to start some shit, I'm sorry, not this time. You just,
And the funny thing is, these people will say that, whether it's the female or the male, what is your wife going to say? I've never had anybody reach out to me and ask how I would feel about something. So
there was
shut the fuck
one
up.
dude like years and years and years ago that remember there was a lady that worked at the daycare.
Oh yeah,
kids were in,
mm-hmm.
and she took like it was a picture that was like posed. It was like a professional picture, and I said she looked beautiful or something like that. And the next day there was some motherfucker just apparently her boyfriend just all in my inbox. How long have you known so and so? How long you been talking? I was like, I don't even know who the fuck you're talking about. And so he had to so he showed the picture, and I basically roasted his ass about how pathetic he is, and you must have a real tiny dick if you think that me just saying that constitutes me trying to hook up with your woman. I mean, I know what you look like and what I look like, and but I don't want her. So you got to check yourself. Number one, if you're with somebody that don't want you, the fuck you with them for?
Right.
But anyway, he decided to send a screenshot to Michelle, and then she roasted the fuck out of him too, because he's just a fucking moron.
Yep.
But that's the thing. I'm gonna tell you like this: there's so many podcasters that get caught up with whatever, and then they find themselves having to apologize, and then the mob comes after them, and you said this and blah 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 blah. I'm gonna say the shit that I'm gonna say, and I thought about what I'm gonna say. And if you have a problem with what I'm gonna say, tell me to my face or don't watch the show. Simple as that. But I will never be blackmailed. I will never be pushed around. And you will never find something on me that is like that you're going to hold over my head to make me compromise my morals in any way. So I hope we got that all out the way. But meanwhile, you bunch of busted recliner looking motherfuckers looking like beanbag chairs, having the nerve to talk about somebody who's worked out for years when the only thing you've ever worked out is your mouth, or
your
doing
fingers.
a 12-ounce curl,
your fingers on the keyboard.
Oh yeah, and the only way you're ever gonna get laid is either pay for it or crawl up a chicken's ass and wait. So, I understand it hurts and everything, but the truth is the truth.
Yep.
So,
Randy, you're so right, Randy.
Absolutely. I better mention now because I will forget otherwise. August 28th. So far, we have Anthony Scaramucci confirmed for the Bolin Show. Mr. Cena Sr. is scheduled to be on because he'd like to meet Mr. Scaramucci. And we're still working on Mark Cuban. So hopefully that comes to fruition. So John Cena Sr., Star Maker, Mark Cuban, Scaramucci, and the rest.
I love that. And the rest.
We're basically the cheesecake crumbs left over. It's Bolin's world and we're all living in it. So make sure you guys tune in on August 28th. I don't have a time nailed down yet, but I'm sure that he'll, tell me. We're going back to the village story. We're going to go to part 2, and I believe this one takes us down to Brazil somewhere. I don't know. Let's go find out together. This time, let's head south. Brazil, 1923. The village of Ouro Verde, over 600 people thriving, then silence. Reports say soldiers found the town completely abandoned. Homes were open, tables were set, guns, money, personal belongings left behind. The last thing anyone heard was the eerie sound of a gunshot echoing through the surrounding forests, and then nothing. Theories popped up: mass migration, guerrilla warfare, something darker. Oops. So, you don't have any idea how many takes it took me to pronounce that damn village's name.
I was just thinking the same. I would not be able to do it. I can't roll my
There's
R's.
literally 12 outtakes of me just saying that word over and over and over. And when I finally nailed it, I had to clip all that other shit out and just paste it in like right at the right time. So, those of you that think this shit is easy, it is if you want it to be raggedy, but I'm a bit of a precisionist and perfectionist. And, if something is off, just if the audio is off a half second from the motions, that drives me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That shit happens on Hulu sometimes. Like if you watch it for too long, all of a sudden the audio is like 5-6 seconds behind.
Yep. Doesn't match.
Yeah, you're watching the credits go by and you're hearing them talk about shit. So yeah, makes zero sense. Let's see. Was it like the city championship? Man, I tell you what, 4 touchdowns in one game, buddy. I came home and I said, "Hey, there was a fat lady at the game today." Again, if you're Gen X, that shit's funny. If you're not, you're like, "What the hell is he talking about? That's not cool." A few things that I need to remind people: those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Those who prevent history from being taught fully intend to repeat it. That's why we're getting a bunch of banned books and all that kind of shit. And the latest news too is now he wants to get rid of mail-in votes. He wants to make that illegal. Wonder why.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Good Lord.
Yeah, there you go, Gonzo. Give me the try. Yeah, I think that was a show we were talking about, wasn't it? That you said you never watched and we should rewatch it. Because of Louise on Connors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, so the joke makes sense now.
Yep.
But yeah, damn near every episode he reminds you that he scored those four touchdowns in one game for Polk High, because that's his only claim to fame. He's a middle-aged shoe salesman. They have a Dodge Dart, I believe, that the key is a screwdriver. Peggy, who is Louise, mm-hmm. She's a housewife who eats bonbons all the time and wants sex all the time, but Al's like disgusted by her.
Don't know how.
Yeah, the daughter is oversexed and overstupid, and the boy is a virgin who's trying so much to get ass that he makes an ass out of himself all the time. And then there's Bud the dog, who you hear his thoughts. They'll kind of, I'm just rolling away and shit. They'll pan on him, and he's one of them big floppy sheep dogs, so he's always just kind of on the ground like this. Mm-hmm. But you hear his thoughts ever so often. Mm. So he's funny. Let's see. I always love the rage baiters where it's always a bodybuilder that they flex and say, "This is just a reminder I can beat the shit out of anybody that reads this," or yada yada, and then this kind of shit happens. I love people getting taken down like that.
Yep.
As far as the Epstein files, turns out that the Biden administration put his name in the Epstein files as payback. So Biden did it.
Oh my God.
As always.
This shit up.
This is something that I've said from day one, and only because I come from both worlds and I've lived in both worlds. Children will play with anybody until you tell them not to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't give a shit. They really don't.
Yep.
You know, even like when you look back in the daycares and stuff, you'd see like the white and black kids just run and smash into each other and fall down and giggle and shit. And it's not until later on that, you know, daddy's like, yeah, don't be hugging them black boys. You know, just bullshit like that. I've been the recipient of it, and don't tell me it doesn't happen. Because, and you know, that reminded me, I was thinking in the shower about how, you know, you know, I don't believe like in, you know, God does everything. Like, you know, when somebody wins a championship, if it wasn't for the glory of God, you know, but there's sometimes I think God likes me extra special because there are 3 examples of people who either did me really wrong or embarrassed the shit out of me or something like that. And they all died in horrible ways. Not my doing. Just bizarre fucking ways. One was this guy that he had fixed my car, and he, you know, long story short, he humiliated me and Scott. He was just mowing us down about some shit that just happens. A bus fell on him. So yeah, there was that. But he was really accident prone because he originally got his finger ripped off by a bus because he didn't.
God.
And he was working on something and it started rolling away. His finger was caught, snatched that sumbitch off. And yeah, next time he had it on like stilts, which was some shit he wasn't supposed to do, and shit came down on him. The other one was this guy that was horribly racist towards me because me and his daughter were friends, and you know, we're getting close. He didn't like that. It made it very known he didn't like that. And do you remember on Ted when Mark Wahlberg told that guy, he was like, yeah, I've heard what you were saying to my girlfriend, and I've got to say, I fucking hope you die of Lou Gehrig's disease.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that guy died of Lou Gehrig's disease.
Yes.
That's like one of the most horrible ways to fucking die. And I can't remember the third one offhand, but I remember it wasn't cool. It wasn't the way you want to go out. I know that. I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. A Trumper decided that he was tired of woke indoctrination and LGBTQ and all this shit. So he went ahead and relocated to Russia, where he was sent to active duty fighting in Ukraine. Womp womp.
Well,
here is the way that Republicans try to spin the Epstein files. Absolutely insane that Democrats actually voted to have the U.S. government publish child porn. The fuck is even going on anymore? Down here, Democrats are the party of the party of pedophilia. Of course, they want to see that shit. Hate to tell you guys though, but like the last 12 representatives that got in trouble for diddling same-sex kids were Republican. They were MAGA.
Yep.
Oops. Let's see, which one is this? Oh yeah, I always thought this about myself in school. Did anybody else find it weird when the entire class was just moaning the Pledge of Allegiance? I mean, some people probably didn't. I did. I was always that kid that just found it weird that I have to pledge something to you. I have to like promise to be true to you. It just struck me as weird that it was always a piece of land. You know, and the only reason that I'm here is by accidental birth that I, you know, happen to drop off in this territory. But it could have been anywhere else. It could have been in the old war zone where I'm fighting my ass off to get over here. And that's what a lot of other fat fucks forget is you were born here simply by accident. Your fat parents decided to fuck that night, and instead of, you know, winding up on an Afghan, you wound up where, you know, you wound up creating life. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of people, you know, feel bad about it, but yes, I'm telling you, that's my spirit animal. Speaking of which, my other girl, Becky, she is sick tonight. So Becky, if you see the replay, get better, darling. I'm sorry you got that sick. She says she has whatever her sister had, which sounds nasty because she's been out for about 2 days. Um, let's go ahead and go to part 3 of this village thing, which is the final part. And this one's just a little bit longer. It's almost 3 minutes, but let's see if we can wrap our head around some of these mysteries after we're done. You can't talk about vanishing villages without Roanoke. Late 1500s, the first English settlement in the New World. Governor John White leaves the colony to get supplies. He returns 3 years later, gone. No people, no bodies, just the word Coletrane carved in the post. What happened? Starvation? Mass migration? A desperate integration into nearby tribes? Or something more sinister? Centuries later, we still don't know. But here's the kicker. Archaeological digs uncovering almost always answers. Pottery shards, European weapons, but nothing conclusive. It's like history is dangling the truth, just out of reach. Maybe the question isn't what happened to Roanoke. Maybe the question is, why do these stories keep happening? The ancient Anasazi cliff dwellers? Gone. The village of Caldara, India, abandoned overnight with curses whispered in the wind. Every time, sudden disappearance, no logical explanation, time and history swallowing the evidence. So what is it? Natural disaster? Mass psychosis? Supernatural interference? Or maybe, just maybe, humans are really good at writing themselves out of the story when survival is no longer the point. Some people vanish without a trace. Some villages vanish without a whisper. Some stories vanish without a record. But when they all vanish together, that's when I start asking questions. If you know of a vanishing village we missed, hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at TraneWreck'D, TraneWreck_D on Instagram, or Jaded Zen Entertainment on Facebook. And while you're there, drop a like, leave a comment, and if you're feeling brave, follow us down the rabbit hole. Remember, in a world disconnected, a total disappearance should be impossible. But history says otherwise. Until next time, keep your eyes open. Some places don't just get lost, they leave. Now, the crazy thing about that is there's like 20 more villages.
Wow.
That just up and walked away. you know, one thing about the Roanoke guy, he left for 3 years. I mean, that was plenty of time for them to book.
Right.
But but yeah, and that was my first thought too, is well, not only just fleeing, but integrating in with the native tribes. I'm sure, once food started getting scarce and survival was at the utmost, I'm sure people did splinter off into other tribes and either became members or slaves, or the women were just taken in or whatever. Anyway, Kung Fu, she's, last I heard from her was yesterday, she was doing fine. I'm hoping she's asleep right now, because she is going right to voicemail, and it's usually not like her daughter's on here and she can't get a hold of her either. So I'm hoping she just fell asleep.
Today, dialysis day.
Yeah, so it could have been.
Sometimes she's just exhausted.
Yeah, sometimes it just wears her out, and that happens. I remember my aunt used to go through it. There's so many things that you have to do to prepare, like even to have a decent run. Like you have to make sure that, I think she can only have like 33 ounces of water between the sessions, dialysis periods, not a day, like those 3 days in between or 2 days. We appreciate that. I'll pass that along to her. There was somebody else who wished her well on, it was after the show. So, and I did show her that, and she was very appreciative. I don't know if she actually got back to you personally or not, but she sees everything that you guys post, because I make sure she does. and she always appreciates your thoughts and prayers, and she's a big proponent of prayers.
Oh yeah.
And I am too, whether it's the placebo effect or not. Sometimes it just seems to work.
Yep.
I wanted to show this too because this seems to be, I don't care how many flags you put on your pickup truck. Real patriotism is loving your country enough to hold it accountable when it's wrong.
Right.
And the thing is, a lot of you people out there, dumb isn't necessarily the word as far as willful ignorance.
Yeah. I was going to say they're turning a blind eye to
Mhm.
the obvious wrong things that are going on.
The thing is, it benefits them.
Yeah.
So, they know what's going on. We're not teaching them anything they don't know. It's fully intended that a lot of these people just had racism in their heart. They had sexism in their heart. And when they were protected from this shit, everybody was fine. But then it became, I can't make fun of people the way I used to.
Yep.
And that's when they turned to the word woke. But the thing that's funny is every time some white person says that and I ask them to define it, you know what? Because we wasn't talking to y'all motherfuckers.
Right.
Woke was for black people to tell each other to stay aware of what's going on. And then just like twerking, just like every dance, just like every clothing piece we discarded, y'all took it, cornied it up, and made it something it ain't. So it just frosts my balls every time I hear somebody say something was woke.
Mhm.
Because really, y'all were the real woke ones, because as soon as there's say one trans person in your school, all of a sudden it's indoctrination. I
Right.
can't believe they're allowing this to go on. The percentage of trans people is below, it's definitely below 5%. It's not enough for you to give a shit about.
Right.
And for those of you who live in small towns who have never been 10 minutes away from the place you were born, I don't want to hear another motherfucking word about race relations from you.
Mhm.
Because chances, if you can name how many black people you racist in the motherfucker. If you can name how many Mexicans then you ain't been around enough.
Right.
Because I've seen people from Valentine, Nebraska got some shit to say about race relations.
Yeah.
What the fuck black person have you ever met in your life other than the ones you see on TV? Let's see. Okay. As long as I know she's okay.
Yep.
All right.
Thank
So
you
there's
for
the answer.
reporting
She's
back,
okay.
Tyler.
She's just asleep. But
Yep.
yeah, thank you, baby. I always call her. I've known her since she's 7. She's just a little baby to me. She got babies. But yeah, Tyler C. Much love to
Yeah.
Jade. That's a good do. And speaking of, these people that have shit to complain about, before we get to this next story, I just saw this picture recently. And, the first post was, of course, probably some jealous bitch, but this isn't good to her fans. What kind of idol is she? And blah, blah, blah. Here's Billie Eilish in a bikini looking good.
Mm-hmm.
You see why everybody's mad. She looks good.
Right.
She's
She's not being a good role model. How is she not being a good role model? She's
exactly.
She's proud of her body.
And is it me, or does that look like a private residence behind her?
Exactly. Yeah. So who's the one that's taking the picture?
Exactly. But again, it's usually the jealous, the fat fucks that they think that everything is a conspiracy against them, and that every star has had liposuction and blah blah blah. And when she was covering up and looking all baggy, they were talking about her looking like a bum.
Mm-hmm.
And then she comes out. Now she's not a good role model. She's busty. Shit
Right.
happens.
Yeah.
There's some people who get flagged on Instagram when they're just in their underwear.
Yep.
And it sucks. Because I'll see other people doing the same shit. But me and do you remember that brother that was he went viral for fishing in his own neighborhood?
Oh,
and
yes.
all them people. Okay, well, we've chatted online because matter of fact, when I had that issue in the airline,
Mhm.
the same thing had happened to him.
Ah.
And he was like, "Yeah, I know a bunch of people probably think you're lying, but I believe you, man, because it happened to me last." You want to go ahead and just tell what happened, so I don't sound like I'm, trying to be Mr.
You're talking about when you're coming back home, right? And you couldn't get.
Well, there and back, it was the same thing. 2 different airlines.
You're talking about the most recent trip. I want to make sure that I.
No. I'm
Okay,
talking about
then no, you need
the
to
reason
tell
I
it.
got flagged.
Oh, flagged. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you go through that stand up, put your arms up in the air thing so they can see if you are carrying a concealed weapon. Well, his junk got flagged as being a concealed weapon. And not only did it get flagged once, but it got flagged 2, 3 times
It got flagged
around our
once on the
daughter.
way and on the way back.
Yes.
And yeah, my daughter was like, "I saw it that time," but because I had to ask, I was like, "What are y'all seeing?" And they said it's just like a red box that just appears. Because the question is, "What are you carrying in your groin?" And it's just like I was taken aback, like my groin, like what? And so of course they have to do the backhanded pat and all that kind of shit, and it's humiliating because my daughters are right there with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the way back, you and Gabby had left before me and Adriana did. So me and Adriana went together. And it happened to me because she went through first, and then there was like 3 people, and then I came through, and it happened again. And so I was getting my shit. This lady was like, "I have never seen that happen before." I was like, "Yeah, I know. It's fucking embarrassing." And she was like, "Oh, maybe you should be proud." And I was like, "Oh, my daughter's over there." And so as soon as I got my shoes, she was like, "I saw the box." And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like you think that you want people to compliment you a certain way, and then it gets uncomfortable when it happens another
Yep.
way.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, guys, we want to be hit on too. We love that shit. Until a girl's a little aggressive with it and it gets all uncomfortable. Back there were like 3 separate occasions where discomfort just came for me. One was in a Burger King drive-thru. I'm picking up breakfast for my babies. I got car seats in the back and shit. And she was like, "Ooh, you looking good with all them car seats in the back." She's like, "You married?" I was like, "Yes, I am. Get my shit so I can go." And then there was a separate Burger King where she dropped her number in the fries too.
Yes.
There was a little extra something in there. I'm like, "Okay, whoa." It's like, what was the other one? Oh, we were on Wick. And
Oh yeah.
very early on in our relationship, we was po. And so Wick, for those of you that don't know, women, infant, children, it's supplies and commodities to help, with new mothers and such. And Michelle couldn't make it for whatever reason. So it's just a box of shit. You go, you pick it up. So I went, and there's these 2 girls behind the counter. They were attractive enough, but very overtly flirtatious. And so they had like boxes on the counter and shit, but they made me go get the one on the floor that I got to go bend over and pick up. I bend over and I hear, oh, God. So I picked the shit up and I was like, "All right, ladies, bye. Make sure you come back." I was like, I never went back.
So scared.
It was just so oddly uncomfortable, and it's something that you think you want because, again, they were attractive, but I don't know. It was just, I think the fact that I'm picking up for my babies and there's a chance that I have a wife at home too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it just turned me off, but I do like being flirted with. That's cool, but when you're like, when you think it's the club and I'm just like in the line at the drive-through, that's not cool. Online, you can flirt with me all you want. Shit, you can ask me how my wife feels about it too, and I'll tell you to ask her if you really want to know. And if you just causing trouble, then I'm sorry for you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's something else about us too, is that as we've gotten older, I started the beginning of the show saying the shit that I'm not going to be pin down on, or the things that I'm not going to be, blackmailed, or you're not going to hold nothing over my head. Very sexually expressive, both of us, and think what you want to think about that. But, people are always, I'm tired of people who are just disgusted, or everything's got to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes us to our very final story, which I produced a thing just for news. So watch it. All right. It turns out that white men everywhere are losing their fucking minds over the newest cheerleaders in the NFL. That happen to be men. And this isn't what these guys normally look like. They are basically giving a middle finger to the white people that are afraid of this shit. The Minnesota Vikings have 2 male cheerleaders, and damn, I forgot their names. Let me see. I think it says on this one. Blaze Chic and somebody, I don't know. I feel like I'm doing a disservice by forgetting their names, but we'll say it next week. But anyway, they're 2 male cheerleaders for the Minnesota Vikings, and men everywhere, especially on the right, talking about how gay they are and how nobody wants to see this. Once again, we're gonna boycott the NFL. No, you're fucking not.
Right.
Because how often do they show the cheerleaders to begin with?
Right.
Right when they go to commercial, right as they go to halftime, and then they throw it to the studio.
Yep.
Number 2, bet you didn't know this. Let me see, where is the number? 1/3 of the cheerleaders are men. There's like 18 teams, including the Philadelphia Eagles, that have male cheerleaders that actually celebrate them.
What?
So you sissies up in Minnesota, quit acting like some shit's brand new. Matter of fact, the guy that sold me my first car, Tommy Dean, down at Durst Automotives in Lincoln, Nebraska, coolest motherfucker I've ever met in my life. He's only like 5'8" or something like that, but he's got that smooth mustache, pretty ass blue eyes. He's got that blonde hair, and he talks like who does he he just has that real smooth talk that just kind of sounds like this. He was a cheerleader, and do you know why? He got to put his hands on all kinds of booties and coochies and boobs and stretch with them and shit. Like, that was his whole reason to be a cheerleader. So who else was a cheerleader, guys? George W. Bush was a cheerleader at Yale. Yep, he had the megaphone and everything, the go team go, all that shit. So basically, here are the bullet points that I wrote down, and it looks just like this. The argument: football supposed to be manly and traditional. No room for dudes dancing on the sidelines. As whoa, it's ruining the game.
Oh my God.
Now here's the hypocrisy. How long have we been watching them slap each other on the ass?
Right.
Cheerleading is one of the most athletic, dangerous sports out there. There are a lot of young men and women who have broken necks or broken backs because of this sport, which it is. It's a sport. I dare any of you fat fucks to try to lift your wife up, up on your shoulder. Half of you can't lift her to begin with.
Right.
But, throw her up on your shoulders and flip her, and you do a backflip. You tell me how much of a sissy it is. How big a punk you are that you can do that kind of shit. Here's something else. Nobody's booing in the actual stadiums. It's internet outrage. Fans who care about moving the chains. They don't care about who's shaking their asses. And let's see here. What is the other? Tradition is a code word for don't make me uncomfortable. And hasn't that been the way of every goddamn thing that we've done? Like, traditional values say that we don't have them queerosexuals, and traditional values don't, traditional values for a long time didn't include interracial marriage. And, before we wrap up, here's a little something to think about. They're already asking the Supreme Court to overturn gay marriage. which is a damn sham as it is.
Mhm.
I want everybody to know out there, if something like this does happen to you, I am an ordained minister for that very reason. I will marry you whether I go to jail or not. If you love each other, I'll fucking marry you, period.
Yep.
With that said, what the hell do you think's next?
Exactly.
You know, they've already been talking about how civil rights is a state to state issue, which is just code for let's make America great again.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go, I want to let everybody know that I've once again made a change, that the show will not be replaying on Tuesdays because I was trying to follow some algorithm bullshit. I've tested it for 2 weeks and there was absolutely nothing different. Matter of fact, it was worse. I had less views.
Yeah.
So the show will be ready by tomorrow morning every time. So, you know, if you don't catch us live, you'll catch the replay the very next morning. It'll be clipped up a little bit. So again, watching live is always your best bet. Catch us every Wednesday live at 7 p.m. Arizona time, 10 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't subscribed yet, click that little bottom square on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, or just take a picture of this right here with your QR code and your flash photography device on your telephono. So you go ahead and subscribe there. If you want to get in touch with us, your best bet is to either do it here on YouTube or go to our Facebook page, which the QR code is right there. Thank you so much, Gonzo. I will pass that right along to JJ. Randy, love you, baby. Thank you for jumping on. Tyler, Kung Fu, Gonzo, Serve Up. Who am I missing?
Tyra.
Oh, the Ghost. The Ghost was up in here.
The Ghost. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Again, look for the replay next week and look for the live show next week. And one more time, I have to mention that on the 28th of August on the Bolin Show, we will have Mr. Cena Sr., we will have Anthony Scaramucci, we may have Mark Cuban, we will have the Star Maker, and the rest. That will be on August 28th. Before we go, I always have to mention that if you are feeling down and you feel like there's no place else to go, if you ever need somebody to talk to, please dial 988. It's the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can chat with the Trane Caring Crisis Counselor, or you can go to 988lifeline.org/chat. Probably easier to just dial the 988.
Yep.
If you are a person of color, or if you are trans or LGBTQ, yeah, that's a lot to say. Call Blackline. It is not just for Black people. It's for all the people I mentioned there. You can see it down at the bottom. Prioritizes Black, Indigenous, people of color, for us, by us. 800-604-5841. Guaranteed to find somebody that can understand you just a little bit more than someone who's never been in your world. So that's our show. Anything you want to say to the glorious peoples before we leave?
Be kind to yourself and be kind to others.
I caught you off guard, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I'm just like,
even though I do the same shit every goddamn time.
I know.
Again, JJ is okay. We just got the word that she's asleep, so all is well in JJ land. So for JJ, for Shell, for myself, for Christy backstage, this is Coletrane saying make sure you take care of yourself, take care of each other, and always stay curious. That's how you learn. Take care.
Good night.
Hey everybody, it's Coletrane. Thanks for watching our show. And if you want to watch any other shows just like this, just click any one of these bad boys and it'll take you right there. Again, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like, and share with somebody else. Thanks.